Watch what's approaching, the supreme moment. Reality striking closer than it seems, don't it? Go ahead, it's for the taking if you want it. If not, the dream dies and you'll be forever haunted. Then confront it.
What's good? Since this guy came out on Legends recently, it got me thinking how this guy still holds up in today's age of Dokkan battle. Now, I gotta be the first to admit, I don't really run this unit a whole lot nowadays. And on top of that, I don't really run the androids category setup a whole lot. I tend to go with other categories, that I prefer. But over the course of time, there's been a lot of new additional units that falls into the android category, and a lot of good supporting units as a matter of fact. So I think it's worth revisiting and seeing how this guy does. So that's pretty much what we're doing here. I figured it'd be a good occasion to do that. So it's been a while, so let's go ahead and cover the stats and see how this guy holds up today. So of course, this is one of the 120% leads from back then. This is the Extreme Agility types, and then for the super attack, causes immense damage to enemy and also greatly lowers defense. The passive skill, I imagine, is still pretty useful. Damage received minus 40%, and then attack increase of 30% with each attack received, maximum of up to 120%. So I think you could definitely get attack stats up there, as well as defending pretty decent. In terms of links, you've got Android Assault that looks like defense increase of 1,000, Fear and Faith plus 2 Ki. Fused Fighter is also plus 2 Ki. Nightmare attack increase of 10%. GT is also plus 2 Ki. Shocking Speed, another plus 2 Ki. And then Fierce Battles, 15% to attack. This guy does fall into just two categories, androids and artificial life forms. And at 100%, you're looking at HP levels of 16,225, attack is 15,500, and defense is 10,588. 12 Ki Multiplier is 140%. So on paper, this guy really isn't too bad. But let's test him out on, for example, the Infinite Dragon Ball History event and see how he does with some of the newer stage settings on the Android category. And again, there are a lot of good supporting units in terms of the category itself, so I did include quite a few. The other good thing too is because of the release of the new LR Androids 16, 17, and 18, you can actually include the EZA physical type Kid Buu, because the secondary leader skill for that includes the physical type units. So yeah, we'll go ahead and see what some of the good supporting type units on the rotation, see how this guy does overall. And the Trenchcoat 17 also does provide a 25% attack and defense increase to agility and tech types or something like that. I can't remember 100%, but that's definitely an extra boost. Also shares the Nightmare link skill, but in this case, kind of want to see the unit linked up with the active skill initiated Android 16 just to see how they line up, honestly. So that's pretty much, you're missing out on the Nightmare 10% increase to attack link skill, but just to keep them on the same rotation, it's kind of the reason as to why that occurred. So of course that was a Dokkan mode attack, I believe, and 2.5 million with the crit. Certainly not bad, but a lot of units nowadays can put out a lot more in not only attack stats but also damage itself. But again, I think this guy really comes in handy in terms of mitigating damage, also having a good enough percentage toward attack increase with the passive skill. It's more or less, I guess, kind of a balanced approach. And if you think about it, I mean, this unit was released in April of 2017 in JP, so it's been like well over 2 years since this unit came out. And considering that it's 40% damage reduction up to 120% increase to attack once you're fully activating the passive skill, I mean, it's actually pretty good. And there's certainly benefits as to still utilizing this unit. Again, a lot of you guys may use this guy on a frequent basis. I just happen to not use him that much because I just tend to prefer other categories, and that's that's strictly a preference standpoint. It's not like I have anything against this unit necessarily. I just prefer to run different category setups, and that's pretty much it. They definitely did do justice with the Android 16 on the the transformation or active skill exchange mechanic, whatever you want to call it, and it's pretty nice. I think they did a good job with that. I guess this worked out perfectly because you have 2 agility types, and then all the attacks are coming either in the first or third slot, so it works out pretty well, I guess. And yeah, we'll see how damage output overall is. I mean, 1.4 million with the crit on this event, you know, definitely not bad. Not bad at all. I would imagine this guy does still he'll probably still do pretty good on like the SBR settings, and you know, probably will take a pretty hefty amount of damage even with the 40% reduction, but you know, you are getting a 30% increase to attack with every attack received, so you know, with the maximum 120%, this guy could deal some pretty decent damage. In terms of, you know, the potential system, probably, I mean, you could go either way. 11 additional attack, 15 crit, or you could go 14 additional attack and 12 toward criticals. I mean, either or I think works with this guy, and you probably don't want to go too heavy on the additional side, just to make sure you get some crit levels. I think honestly, 14-12 is probably the best approach on this guy. Yeah, I think the LR androids are a little bit showing off in this setting and overshadowing the Super 17 right now, but it is a much newer unit and a much better unit in all honesty, so you would figure that would happen, but Super 17 is holding his own, I think, and not bad overall. So again, Kid Buu is able to fit on this team setup if you run a dual LR Androids category or LR Androids leader setup, because you still get a boost for that. And yeah, Kid Buu's gonna end up taking more damage because of a lesser percentage boost overall. But you know, that 50%, if HP is 80% or above toward attack and defense, you know, that could certainly make a huge difference. And you know, even when HP levels fall below 80%, you're still getting a 30% now with the EZA. So I think it's, you know, it's still manageable. Again, you in a setting like this, you can expect to take a little bit more in damage just because of the lower percentage boost from the leader skill. But I think it's still, overall, it should be fine. We'll see how much in damage he takes here. I mean, it still takes a pretty hefty amount of damage right there, 155,000, but this Gohan right here deals quite a bit in damage, so I guess in that regard, I mean, that's 40% reduction applied, so, you know, certainly better than no reduction, you know what I mean? Like, I've seen units take a lot more heavier hits than that, for sure. You know, the only thing that really hurts this guy is the limitation on the categories. Again, he's only on the androids and artificial life forms category. You know, honestly, for most units, I think, you know, it would be wise to have at least 3 different categories, a little bit more flexibility. I think 2 is a little bit too restricted in my opinion. I think 3 at the minimum should be ideal, but when they do introduce more categories, because honestly the opportunities for additional categories is limitless, if we're being quite honest. You know, maybe this guy at some point will get additional categories added. You know, the easiest fix would be an actual GT category. You know, that's still yet to come out, and if it does, you know, that's going to increase options for a lot of units that might be a little bit restricted, you know what I mean? So we'll see if that happens, along with maybe a couple of the other different types of categories that could potentially come out. So I think with the proper support, you can definitely get his attack stats upwards about, I think the highest I've seen is like 2.2, 2.3 million, I think. And that's actually pretty good, considering how, you know, believe it or not, this unit is actually pretty old now. I mean, it's 2.5 years, I guess, since the release, so you know, it's not an EZA or, you know, stuff like that. That's not going to happen anytime soon. But I say that, and it could be right around the corner after they finish up the 70% leads and the 50% all types leads. You know, the 120% monotype leads are going to be next. And, you know, it could be happening like next year at some point. Honestly, it should happen next year at some point. But, I mean, we'll see when that actually does occur. But, you know, with the EZAs, it's a game changer. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of things change. Like, the physical type legendary Super Saiyan Broly is a good example of that. He became an insanely good unit after the EZA. So we'll see what's up with that when it does happen. But again, this is the Super 17 updated showcase just to see how he is on the current categories and additional, you know, new units that have been introduced, see how he does overall. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys later. All right, peace out.